What?
What?
What the hell is this?
Harumph. I didn't get a harumph out of that guy.
Give the governor harumph.
Harumph!
You watch your ass.
I see you shiver with anticipation.
Let the show begin.
Hey everybody, this is David Heretic coming at you with another edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. And tonight, alright, we're coming back to Day 6. Yes, indeed, Day 6 fans feeling you. Come on now. Here we go. Before we go any further, for those of you who are feeling inclined to doing all the clicks and the likes and the bibbity-bibbity bop, do me a favor, before you do all that stuff, please watch the whole video first, okay? Give me a chance to actually earn those clicks and likes. Now, after the video's done, if you still feel like doing all those clicks and likes, then by all means, feel free to click away. This comes as a request from Charles B, and this is actually one of Charles B's 3 prioritized requests for the month of November for being a gold tier member on the Patreon page. So, here you go, Charles. Hope you enjoyed the show, man. Charles wanted to see me react to this. It is Day 6 with a tune called How Can I Say?
I am the hype!
Now, have I heard the song before? No, I have not. To the best of my knowledge, this does not resonate with me in any way, shape, or form. However, there's always a possibility I may have heard the song in passing and I just don't realize it. So as always, if I start listening to the song and I suddenly go, wait a minute, hang on a second, this sounds really familiar, I'll let you know.
That's the truth.
You know me, I'm going to be honest with you guys. As always, Charles has provided me with an intro that he'd like me to read to all of you, so here we go. The first reaction you did to Day 6 was from their single Sweet Chaos from 2019. The second reaction you did to them, which, much to your surprise, you ended up really enjoying, was Shoot Me, a single released in 2018. Continuing our path backwards with Day 6 comes How Can I Say? Isn't that funny? We're moving backwards. Which is the third single off of their first studio album, Sunrise, from 2017. Inspired by the band's name, Sunrise was given a unique release plan by having all 6 singles from the album released on the 6th of every month, starting from January 2017 to June 2017. So, February, March, April, May, June, July. No, wait a minute, that wouldn't be right. So,
What?
on the 6th of every month.
Nani?
And there were 6? Wait a minute. January, February, March, April, May, June. There we go. My math, sorry. Math.
I'm 100% stupid.
6. Okay, so 6. So 6 songs on the 6th of every month. Yeah, that makes sense. That's a nice little publicity stunt, I guess. It definitely works. You remember the day, don't you? Especially if you're a fan, you'll mark those calendars. You'll absolutely mark your calendars up. The 6th of every month. Okay, so we're going backwards. Now, if the trend follows, that means I should end up really enjoying this. I guess we'll have to wait and see, though. This was posted by JYP Entertainment. Okay, and the video has 16 million views. It'll get you there. Other than that, there's really nothing else left to say. Link to the original video will be down below in the video description for your viewing pleasure at your leisure. Let's get started. What do you say? Are you ready? Are you ready? Because here we go. All right, here we go. Day 6. How can I say? No idea. MV, music video. Doesn't say official music video. It just says MV. Guess what, to find out how this works. All right, let's do this.
All right, boy, let's do this.
Okay.
I hate me now. 설레지 않는 내가 싫어. 내 맘이 언젠가부터 더는 반응하지 않아. Hate me now. 식어버렸으면 좋겠어. 나를 보는 그 눈빛에 사랑이 없으면 좋겠어. Baby 넌 참이 맑게 날 hate me now 이런 내가 너무나
Okay. Yeah, the trend moving backwards seems to be holding steady. The farther back we go, the more I'm enjoying the song. I'm enjoying this. I'm absolutely enjoying this. The chorus, full blown rock pop, not pop rock pop. Definitely more rock than pop in the chorus, but the pop elements are there, but they're definitely overshadowed by the rock. The rock is definitely dominant, so I like that. The verses, yeah, they're poppy. They are poppy, but they move along, and they don't sound too syrupy sweet. You know what I mean? I don't feel like I need an insulin shot after listening to the verse. I feel like the verse was really kind of leaning and leading the way to the rock section. It wasn't being popped just for the sake of being popped. There was a reason for it. And it felt like it was kind of like, okay, come along, come with me. I'm going to lead you to the promised land of rock. And here it is. You know what I mean? That's what it felt like the verse was doing. I like that. I like that. Like I said, it was poppy. Yeah, of course it was. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it wasn't, but it felt like it had a reason. It really did. It felt like it was going in a direction, which I really appreciated. Vocally, sounds fine. It's in the poppy section, the vocals are a little more poppy, but in the rock sections, the voice gets stronger and it gets more powerful and it gets more edgy. I like that. I like when the vocals fit the context. The harmonies sound good. Everything sounds fine across the board. I got, to be honest with you folks, I really don't have any complaints yet. Now look, we still got about 2 minutes to go, so there's plenty of time for things to go south. You know what I mean? There's plenty of time for those landmines to be laid out and have you step on one. So, I mean, we're not out of the woods yet.
That's my style. I like to kick them when they're down.
But so far, we're off to a really good start. Let's see where this goes.
너와 떨어져
Back
있을
up. Let me back up.
I hate me now 이런 내가 너무나 미워 너와 떨어져 있을 때 편하게 느껴지는 내가 hate me now 눈치를
Have a Latin
챘으면
feel to it a little
좋겠어
bit.
한없이 맑은 눈으로 미소를 보이지 말아줘 Baby 넌 전에 맑게 날 사랑한대 나도라고 말하고 싶어 No 널 따뜻하게 날 바라볼 때 이미 끝나버렸단 걸 알까 어떻게 말해
See, it feels like it's needed.
나와 함께 할 때마다 행복해 하는데 어떻게 말해요 내 마음은 이미 떠났다는 말 참아 나 오지가 않아 Oh how can I say No more 널 사랑하고 싶어도 할 수가 없어 이미 떠버린 내 맘 I can't love you no more 어떻게 말해 넌 아직도 나와 함께 할 때마다 행복해 하는데 어떻게 말해요 내 마음은 이미 떠났다는 말 참아 나 오지가 않아 Oh how can I
Sudden ending, just bam. I like that. Very fitting. Actually, I like that ending. I do. I think that ending was very, very appropriate for this song. I think I mean, I can see other ways the song could have ended, and to be honest with you, I don't think they would have been nearly as effective as this ending that they did with that sudden, abrupt ending. Very, very nice. Short, sweet, to the point. I like it. Let me get my thoughts together. I don't think it's going to take me very long, though. And I'll see you in the review, and we'll talk about it. Well, there you go, folks. That was Day 6 with How Can I Say? This was a request from Charles B. And this was actually one of Charles B's 3 prioritized requests for the month of November for being a gold tier member on the Patreon page. So there you go, Charles. Hope you enjoyed the show, man. Okay, I thought about it, and to be perfectly honest with you folks, there really isn't a whole lot to talk about. And most of what we need to talk about, I already talked about during the course of the reaction. So there's a very strong possibility that this is going to be a short review. It's nothing personal. I'm just saying why beat a dead horse? You know what I mean?
I'm a horse.
If we've already talked about it at length, there's no reason to talk about it at length again. But I am going to hit a couple of bullet points, and we'll go from there. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we'll end up here for another 20 minutes. I don't know. We'll have to just kind of wait and see where the winds take us. Let's start with the score. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give that an 8.2. Yep, 8.2. I feel good about that score. Let me tell you why.
Why?
There's one particular thing that made this go into the 8s. And this is really going to surprise some people. The reason why. The single thing, the one thing that pushed us up into the 8s, I think is really going to shock some people. Let's start with the vocals. I know that's kind of a weird place to start, but I mean, considering the fact that this is kind of a poppy song, it makes perfect sense to do that. The vocals were fine. I had no issues with the vocals at all. I think the vocals were exactly what they're needed to be at each particular point. When the song was in its poppy phase, we had poppy style vocals. But when we went into the rock phase, the voice and the style of singing definitely changed. It got a little edgier. It got a little, how should I put this? It didn't necessarily, well, it did get stronger. The vocals did get a little more powerful, but that's not the word I'm looking for. Edgier, yes, but it goes farther than that. More, okay, I guess the best way I can describe it is they got more purposeful. Like, they fit the context of a rock style song better than the poppy vocals would have. So I guess following the format, I guess. But in any case, very appropriate to the style. And they would change the vocals on the fly for the style of song. Like I said, the poppier sections had the poppier vocals, the rock sections had the more rock vocals. And there was a very clear difference between the two. Very differentiated. That's the word I was looking for, I think. Very differentiated indeed. There was a very, very clear difference. But the whole time, tone sounded good, pitch sounded good, power and support were definitely there in the rock section. So yeah, I really got no problem with the vocals at all on this. Length of song, I think was perfect. I wouldn't make it any shorter. I don't see any reason to make it shorter. It's already pretty short. They could have actually gone a little longer with this song, but I'm glad it was where it was. And again, no need to beat a dead horse. You know, they did what they had to do. They came in, they did their damage, and they left without overstaying their welcome. The rock section, I absolutely dug. I dug the rock section. I loved everything about it. Everything sounded full. Everything sounded big. And it really sounded rock. Like the guitar tone was rock. The drumming style was rock. The bass playing, the keyboard playing was rock. I know this song was released in 2017. It had a very 2000s feel to the style of rock, but I wouldn't go 2017. The style of rock to me felt more like 2004 to 2008, somewhere in there. You know what I mean? the style that they went, which is appropriate because from what Charles has told me in the past, this is not exactly what Charles told me. I'm paraphrasing here, but basically what Charles told me was that Korean rock has kind of been playing catch up.
Y'all playing catch up ball.
You know, it's playing an accelerated catch up. So like in 2017, rock was aiming more for like the mid 2000s. But then in 2018, it went to like, and this is just 1 year later, they jumped to the late 2000s, early 2010s. And then in 2019, it felt like mid to late 2010s, you know, like the 2016 to 2019 era. So they're jumping every year about 3 or 4 years. They are playing catch up, but give it another, well, actually by now they should probably be completely caught up with the times. So I guess we'll see. And I mean, it's appropriate. It definitely works. Look, listen, considering the fact that rock music really was never all that popular and never has been all that popular in Korea, the fact that they're looking to the 2000s, I think number one, I think that's an interesting place to start. You know, I guess probably because that style of music in the mid 2000s or early to mid 2000s, I guess it was kind of, it could be, you know, looked at as being a little poppy. And let's be honest, you know, you look at a lot of rock songs that were released in that time period, how many of those songs ended up on top 40? How many of those songs ended up on pop stations? A lot of them. So I can see that as a good starting point. I know a lot of people are probably wondering, well, why didn't they start like in the 90s with the grunge era, or heaven forbid, glad they didn't do this. Why didn't they start with the late 80s or in the hair metal era? Thank God they didn't do that. You know, or the late 90s where you saw more, you know, introduction into, you know, more the new metal style. I think it would have been too heavy. I think it would have been too much too soon. I do hope eventually that, you know, Korean rock does explore 90s rock and no, not 80s hair metal, please no. But, you know, maybe going into more of the new metal type of style of sound, I would have no problem with that at all. I would love to see that. I've seen it from a couple of Korean bands. I'd love to see it from more Korean bands. These guys in particular. It's funny how moving backwards, I'm enjoying it more and more. I wonder if they have anything from 2016. I don't know. But it'd be interesting to see. Now, I don't know where this 8.2 stands in comparison to the other two reactions I did. I know I wasn't the biggest fan of the first song I did, but the second song, I remember I enjoyed it. I remember even Charles even mentioned it. I was pleasantly surprised by the second song. I don't remember the score I gave it though. I hope it's close. I hope it's under, believe it or not. I hope this 8.2 is a little bit less. I think the second song I reacted to, I think was a little more impressive in the songwriting aspect, but that's not to take anything away from this song. But I do hope it's under. I hope it's under a lot. I hope I didn't give the second one like an 8.8 and I'm giving this an 8.2 because that differential is too big. But if it's like 0.2 or 0.3 difference, I feel that's where it really should be. So if this got an 8.2, I really hope my second reaction I gave like an 8.4 or an 8.5 to. Anyway, the last thing I want to talk about, the reason that this went up into the 8s and is not down the 7s, it's the weirdest thing. It's the verses. Right? Me? The verses? What? The poppiest part of the song? You're dang right. And let me tell you why.
Why?
The verses were poppy. Yes, they were absolutely poppy. There's absolutely no denying that. But they weren't being poppy just for the sake of being poppy. I felt like, and maybe I'm wrong, but this is what I felt. I felt like the verses were being poppy, but I felt like they were taking us somewhere. I felt like they were leading us somewhere. They were leading us into the rock section. Now, how did they do that? Honestly, I don't know. I have no idea how they did that. The only thing I can think of is growth. And from a dynamic standpoint, from an additional voicing standpoint, a slight increase in intensity, possibly. but it felt like the verses were carrying us, dragging us against our will. If we didn't want to go, too bad. We're gonna go. I'm gonna take you there. And then when they delivered us into the chorus, which was full-blown rock, there was that payoff. There was that sense of, oh, this is where you were taking us. You know what I mean? And I think that was really smart. I think it was really smart. Now, was that intentional? Maybe it was, maybe it's not. Maybe it was a complete accident. Maybe I'm just crazy and that I'm the only one who feels that in the verses. But that's what I felt. And as a result, I had to bump this up into the A's because that's what made it a great song. The verses led us to the promised land each and every time. Plus that ending was really good too with the sudden cutoff. I felt that very abrupt ending was actually a very fitting ending to the song. So yeah, 8.2, I feel good with that score, and that is where we're gonna stay. So 8.2, final score, I have spoken. Well, that's gonna do it for this edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. Hope you all enjoyed the show. Hopefully I was able to entertain you. If I was able to put a smile on your face and brighten your day, I did my job, and I'm so glad I could do it. If you guys feel like joining the fan base, go ahead and click on that button down there. If you guys want to like the video, go ahead and like the video. If you guys want to ring the bell, go ahead and ring the bell. It honestly doesn't make any difference at all to me, but if you guys feel like doing these things, well then by all means, feel free to do so. Well, that's going to do it for tonight, folks. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, this is David Heretic signing off, reminding you to stay fabulous and support each other. Later. Peace.